30 seconds until minions spawn. Minions have spawned. First blood. An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain.
I don't have much health there, dude. I can try. But don't fail me, bro. Oh, nice! Oh, I could have actually ignited him.
An ally has been slain.
Yeah, if I ignited him, he would have been done. We probably need some harass resistance against her. Thorns aren't unique anymore, that's nice. kind of trying to zone, see if he goes for it, then we can kill him. It's nice if he commits. Got Annie there. A little. The shoes is done. It's done. Oh, if we kill a few more, I'll get 6.
An enemy has been slain.
They want to recall and try because I don't know how close Lux is, and she is 6. They could laser it. Oh no, she's actually 4. He doesn't have tippers yet. Hurts though. Probably warded this. Yep. He wanted to go for it. Hold on, man. Wait for her to use a 4-shot. Oh, you got caught by a pink board. He's still healthy, and he's coming for backup too. Probably nothing we can do. Oh no. He's back. Started. Kill him first. A little risky, man. Try to zone him with this. Go for the chin if I can.
Killing spree.
Worm away.
Has been slain.
I can't jump on her because Luck will stun me. At least Luck can't hit it. Oh wow. Wait, they have so much magic. 3 magic people. Nice, Shaco. He actually gonna roam, or is this a bait? Not a very good bait, buddy. Bad. I could have just flashed the other way. Happened to get stunned. Good stuff. That's coming. Oh, and it's coming too. That ultimate, I'll take that. We get free top tower.
You have been slain. An ally has been slain.
He's dead. Got way too close. They're both done.
Has been slain. Enemy double kill. A summoner has disconnected. A summoner has reconnected.
Let's go warp us in, buddy. Warp us in. Tom? Tom, hit the warp button, bro. He's got it too. Man, that should have been a double. And Tom's still sitting on ult. We could catch this Annie with it. A fish under tower for something you can't get instead. And he popped all that's big. Would have been a good fight, but yeah, Annie and Echo are back now. Use the dragon, let it hit him. Gotta kill Echo first, for sure. Steal.
An enemy has been slain. They're gonna take mid tower. By scanning, they'll think we're on that. Has been destroyed.
Nothing. He's 2 and 7 there. Not the one we're looking for. Annie's done. Big. They think we're on Baron. They wouldn't walk close enough, would they? No. Buddy. I'm sorry. Watch out for that dude. Oh my god. Kench is a monster this meta.
An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain.
Tempting. If I had ult, but it's up in 4. Oh, Jin's going to help his team, that's what it is.
An ally has been slain. Rampage. An ally has been slain.
Oop, getting some trouble now. Set flanking. Oh, she missed. I think they've got a ward there for sure. No, I took the little ones. Younglings. Come on, man. I mean, they have too many tops, but that should be a free Baron. Gotta do it quick though. We can pop this up. Yeah. Nice. Alright, now we go get our rock soul. Ooh. Good ultimate. The bear. Nice. And we get rock soul and an ace. Actually, one of us can push. Or all of us can push. I didn't hit my zombies quick enough. That's not a good way. They can clean up an end though.
Shut down.
Horizon focus is so bad on Akali. Get him, boys! Yeah! Team! Good work.
Pump it, dump it, pump it, dump it, pump, dump, dump it. Oh no!
Gaia offers a platform for awakening to new truths and new ways of being, to discuss what it would mean to heal ourselves and our society.
According to the sacred texts, aka their latest SEC filings, they have over 700,000 paying subscribers. And for £8.50 a month, I'm now one of them. Quibi, with all its vertically framed Hollywood eye sponges and CGI succubi, only managed to keep 72,000 subscribers after their free trial ended. Turns out though, yoga is mostly just about stretching, breathing, and occasionally getting a third eye full of someone's camel toe. If you want to get really far out, the rest of Gaia's catalogue promises to open your third eye so wide that your frontal lobe will fall out.
Ancient Eastern cultures have detailed descriptions of energy centers in the body, called chakras. But is there scientific evidence of chakras?
With over 8,000 videos centered on fringe science, conspiracy theories, and more alt medicine bullshit than you can shake a Reiki stick at, their streaming service is a one-stop shop for all your conspiratorial and reality-shunning needs. You know, when you get sick of just putting your fingers in your ears and going, eeeeee! name into Google Images, all you get are these pictures of him with various celebrities from ages ago. And I'm not saying this guy is a human disguised as an alien, but I'm also not saying that. Once an internationally competing hurdler, he came to America in the early 1980s and settled in his new home of Boulder, Colorado. A beautiful mountainside town that was also a petri dish for the burgeoning human potential movement. Basically, it's a town where all the hippies went to die. But unlike the rest of those long-haired layabouts, Jirka liked to make love and money. Since his arrival stateside, he has started multiple multi-million-dollar businesses, including a local Boulder organic food market, which he sold in the mid-1980s. With those profits and all 8 of his spirit arms, Jirka then acquired dozens of local office supply companies and merged them under his own, Corporate Express. By selling supplies to large companies in bulk, the company was making more than $3 billion in revenue by the mid-90s. However, the cost of all these acquisitions pushed the company into unprofitability. The stock price plummeted, and Jirka was ousted from his own company by shareholders in 1998. But much like when the Buddha finally ventured past his palace walls, or when Crash Bandicoot escaped Dr. Cortex's lab, that's when the adventure really began. While Jirka started Gaiam in the 1980s, by the turn of the millennium, he had turned it into one of the most recognized yoga supply brands in the United States. They also sold yoga instructional tapes on a little e-commerce upstart called Amazon.com, at one point outselling the Lion King. Using the power of foresight, Jirka then guided Gaiam through another series of corporate acquisitions. Even then, though, the company was daring to stretch yoga content to its absolute limit, pioneering brave new genres like chair yoga, helping you align your back or helping you prepare to get it blown out.
Pak je ellebogen vast, leg je armen op de rugleuning. Laat je voorhoofd op je armen rusten. Je rug moet evenwijdig aan de grond zijn.
And if all that standing up sounds like a hassle, there's also desk yoga.
Hi, I'm Rodney Yee. Let's take a little break and get a little release to the upper and lower back. Cascade, the head and chest forward. Take your hands to the floor and just begin to release the head. So you...
In 2011, the company launched Gaiam TV, bringing on Michelle Leibowitz-Guyan as lead content publisher, and this is where the company began experimenting with fringe science and conspiracy theory content. She also appears in Gaia's recruitment video, which is easily accessible on its homepage at all times. They are currently advertising for the position of Seeking Truth Researcher, which is great, that's basically what I do. Then again, familiarity with alternative history, 30,000 to 2000 BCE period, is a prerequisite for applying. Now, I'm easily impressionable, and I've been tricked before. That's why I've made this easy-to-follow checklist to see if the place you want to work is a cult or not. Number 1, check for ominous imagery or pseudo-ecclesiastical logos.
Sometimes we think we're human beings having a spiritual experience, and forget that we are spiritual beings having a human experience.
Number 2, look out for wide-eyed and obedient-looking followers. Bonus points for strange jewelry or weird facial hair.
I'm Umar Weiss.
I'm Susanna, and I work at Gaia in Community Relations since we were founded. I was part of the team who helped build our Gaia Labyrinth.
I'm Charlie Hirsch, Head of Partnerships and Host MC at Gaiasphere. What I love about Gaia is that we get to help change the world.
Don't forget to multiply that score by the number of desk crystals.
I came to Gaia because all my life I've been on a quest. I'm Julie Tara, Ambassador of Member Growth here at Gaia.
These people are writing the jokes for me. Number 3, listen out for talk of a charismatic leader with an elaborate backstory and or questionable credentials.
We have some of the smartest people that I've ever worked with, starting with our chairman and founder, who was a math prodigy at a very young age, so he was thinking in algorithms long before that was even a word.
Damn, there's more red flags in that video than there are in Tiananmen Square. And look, before we go on, I'm not saying that Gaia is literally a cult. That would be legally reckless. But much of their content does trade on the idea that they fulfill some kind of spiritual enlightenment. So without further ado, let's have a look. So what's on Gaia? Since 2011, the company has tripled down on its in-house content creation. They then dropped the M from their name, upgraded their chakras and DSL line, taking the channel all digital in 2015. Okay, let's start with their most popular film, Samadhi. Samadhi?
Samadhi is an ancient Sanskrit word for which there's no modern equivalent.
Samadhi or Samahi or whatever is representative of much of Gaia's catalogue. A genre I like to call esoteric stock footage psycho-magic fuckery.
The immanent self is timeless. Your inner wiring grows like an ever-unfolding flower.
It's basically microwave-heated mystical monologues played over stock footage and then peppered with occasional lawnmower man-esque CGI representations of what your mum thinks LSD is like.
Our persona. This is Maya, the illusion of the self. 2,400 years after Plato wrote the Republic, humanity is still making its way out of Plato's cave.
Problem is, Plato's stoned-out Shyamalanian twist of what if the world ain't what it actually is pretty much all this film has to offer.
Every step we take on the continuum towards Samadhi brings less suffering.
When it isn't cribbing from the Buddhism wiki page, it's just straight up telling you that we're all living in the Matrix.
As in the movie The Matrix, we could all be hooked up to some elaborate program. It is not that you are in prison.
Huh?
You are the prison.
Gaia has a bunch of movies like this, but I think the real draw is the stuff that they produce in-house at their Colorado-based studio. In 2016, Gaia sold their successful yoga equipment brand to Sequential Brands Group for $167 million, smoothly transitioning from selling yoga balls to peddling yoga bollocks. And it worked. From 2015 to 2019, Gaia expanded its subscriber base extremely quickly. But despite this, it was nearly always losing money. And this was because they were renting every quasi-famous conspiracy theorist and alt-medicine grifter they could find to spew their bullshit on their platform and bring their established audiences along for the ride. So who's on Gaia? First up is Open Minds with Regina Meredith, an interview talk show where the titular host interviews a series of new age nutjobs.
So many people after cancer treatment that are suffering from such debilitating amounts of fatigue, including brain fog, inability to get up and move. I thought, well, why aren't we looking at energy healing for this?
After 18 seasons and 386 episodes, Regina's mind is now so open that someone should probably check her skull for trepanation holes.
When you went down to the inner earth and you saw the various climates, were you in shock?
Oh my goodness, especially the first couple times with all the different lights, and we have special helmets that we had to have thermonuclear protection for our eyes.
Just as prolific is George Norrie with his show Beyond Belief, and that's exactly what it is. Covering everything from psychic vampires to cryptozoology to my personal favourite, Hollow Earth theory, suggesting that the world is just one big old Easter egg instead of the mud and magma gobstopper that it actually is.
Does it snow down there?
Yeah, there are areas that are just like Antarctica. It's just a giant slab of ice, like the biggest ice skating rink.
Reality's weird on its own. You don't need to start writing fan fiction about it. Gaia's Rent-A-God Rogues Gallery also includes big names like David Icke, a former British sports commentator who had a very public meltdown in 1991, claimed he was the son of God on national TV, while wearing a very snazzy tracksuit.
That you claim to be the son of God. Is that true?
Yes, you see, the thing is that it's quite funny, really. 2,000 years ago, had a guy called Jesus sat here and said these same things, you would still be laughing.
Since then, he's become well known for his sometimes 7-hour speaking engagements, where he expounds on his beliefs in reptilian overlords, the New World Order, and the idea that 5G signals cause COVID. Actually, I'm not going to finish that sentence for YouTube monetization reasons, but you get the idea. On Gaia, Icke has been given a 13-part series called Escape the Matrix. These people are obsessed with the Matrix. The Wachowski should get their lawyers on the phone. It seems like Gaia just sat Davey down in their studio and then hit the record button, allowing him to do the PG-13 version of his greatest hits. And frankly, if you're real stoned, it's pretty entertaining. He's always been a pretty engaging communicator, even though what he's communicating is ego-driven delusions of the highest order.
My name's Greg Braden, and I'd like to welcome you to this very special presentation of Missing Links, the deep truth of our origin, history, destiny, and fate.
One of Gaia's most popular original programs is Missing Links with Greg Braden. He really hits the earth running in the first episode, where he tells you that climate change is totes nothing to be worried about.
Take a closer look at this chart, because it's telling us even something more profound. If you look closely, when the carbon dioxide levels do increase, when they go up, the temperatures actually drop.
That sure makes me feel better, and I guess calming people's climate-based anxieties with misleading graphs is basically the whole point.
What that means is that as Earth moves around the sun, it's not a circular orbit, it is an elliptical orbit. Sometimes in the ellipse, we're closer to the sun, sometimes we're further away. So we're seeing this dance that Earth is doing in a very precise way that has created warming in the past, and it's doing the same thing right now.
Here, Greg is talking about Milankovitch cycles, a generally accepted theory about changes in the Earth's long-term orbital cycle that explain why we have ice ages and shit. It is also commonly and willfully misinterpreted by climate change skeptics who wish to discount ideas of human-caused climate change. What they conveniently miss out is that the Milankovitch cycle suggests that the Earth should be cooling right now rather than heating up. If you want to know more about this, I've left a link in the description where NASA will explain it better than I or Greg will. Although I can't help but think that the only reason this guy doesn't believe in climate change is because he doesn't want to stop using all that hairspray. Look at that thing! It's so thick! It's like a horse's mane in 0G.
The technologies that are in these classified projects, quote-unquote free energy, zero point or magnetic flux field generation systems that have been suppressed.
But by far my favourite show on Gaia is Microdose. ADHD-friendly brain blasts of all your favourite conspiracy theories. There's one on chemtrails, interdimensional beings, free energy, and pyramid power, whatever that is.
I became interested in what was going on, started researching the issue, which many people refer to as chemtrails.
Angels will appear in the form that were most receptive to receive their messages.
I went like that, and the spoon broke.
It's basically the QAnon reading list, if QAnoners could read anything other than 8-ton forum posts. And if you get Gaia, I do actually recommend watching these, but watch them on 2x speed after smoking a load of DMT. Makes you feel like being experimented on by the CIA. If you really want to go deep, though, you can catch all your favourite Gaia liars at their 250-seat theatre that they call the Gaia Sphere. But if you can't make the trip all the way to Colorado because you're scared the New World Order can read your thoughts through your car's radio waves, then you can still access all these special live events by paying their premium membership fee. Man, this shit better be good.
I'm Bruce Lipton. Come and join me for a 3-day workshop on the biology of belief and acquiring personal empowerment for your life.
Damn, I must have missed their lecture on the physics of feelings or the archaeology of anus. Then again, it does seem to be what all these speakers are talking out of. But clearly, I am in the minority of Gaia subscribers who feel this way. In terms of profitability, 2020 was an exceptional year for Gaia, gaining nearly 130,000 new subscribers. Their subscriber growth and retention is as impressive as it is depressive. And their in-house content seems to be what people are sticking around for, representing 80% of the service's total viewership. And despite not being able to hold events for most of 2020, their $299 premium membership is a driving force of this profitability. Gaia is obviously popular with its true believers, but looking at the bad reviews on the Better Business Bureau and Trustpilot, it seems that leaving Gaia is pretty tough. A litany of complaints revolve around being charged despite cancelling their membership, or being charged for a full year as soon as their free trial ends. You could argue that this is evidence of some unethical business practices, or just a testament to the relative intelligence of people drawn to Gaia in the first place. You can make your own mind up on that. To see what these people really like about Gaia though, I joined their thriving online community. When I joined, they gave me the super secret password to their slightly secret Facebook group. With nearly 30,000 members, reading the posts in Gaia's inner circle is like being schizophrenic. Cute pictures of fetal dolphins sit uncomfortably next to psychic messages from people claiming to channel the spirits of interdimensional beings known as the 9D Arcturian Council. Yeah. More concerning, though, are the regular messages from Gaia fans who are looking for alt medicine solutions to their real diseases and ailments. And that's where Gaia goes from being goofy to god-awful.
This is a time in history where it's not enough to know. This is a time in history to know how. I'm Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I'm going to show you how to rewire your brain.
Another popular Gaia original is Joe Dispenza's Rewired, a 12-episode series devoted to the mighty power of the placebo effect. Ooh, you know it's going to be good when it starts like that, and nearly all Gaia originals start with this disclaimer.
I've learned that we're not hardwired to be a certain way for the rest of our lives, and we're not doomed by our genes. In fact, we are marvels of change.
Dr. Joe speaks eloquently with all the positive vibes of a self-help guru. Basically, when he isn't talking shit, he is selling a philosophy of personal empowerment. And that's fine. The problem starts when Dr. Joe, whose doctorate is in chiropractic from Life University in Atlanta, starts to tell people that they can heal their real diseases with the power of their minds.
I want to start off by asking you a strange question. What does it mean to you to be supernatural? To me, being supernatural is to be able to change your body by thought alone.
Author of the best-selling The Placebo Is You, his basic idea is, if you believe something hard enough, it will manifest in material reality.
Human beings, because of the size of the neocortex, we can turn on the stress response just by thought alone. We think about our problems and turn on those chemicals. That means then, our thoughts could make us sick. So if it's possible that our thoughts could make us sick, is it possible then our thoughts could make us
He
well?
didn't even take one wave and he has to go home again.
You'd think people like this
Now he's
would
gonna
never
shove it in
even
me.
mention the placebo effect, but it actually comes up on Gaia more often than the idea that we're all living in the Matrix.
A placebo is a treatment with no active therapeutic properties,
yeah.
and it's often used as the control in
It's been a
clinical
while,
trials
right?
to test the effectiveness of new pharmaceutical drugs.
I'm not gonna
But
sleep
how
for a
could these
little while.
sounding modalities possibly work better than the chemicals that directly alter the functions and behaviors of particular cells?
This is a classic use of jargon to sound smart. In this context, modalities basically just means possibilities. Yeah, just thought that was worth pointing out.
We see why simply thinking our health will improve can be just as, if not more powerful, than a chemical telling our cells to do something different.
What they're conveniently leaving out here, though, is that it works best when it's delivered through deception, which kind of undercuts their whole message of personal empowerment.
Well, it turns out that cells respond much better to energy signals than they do to chemical signals. After all, thoughts are just energetic vibrations.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start with this one. This is just bollocks. Essentially, Dr. Joe sells false hope to desperate people who are sick or who care for people who are. If he believes the shit he's selling, then he's a dangerous idiot. If he doesn't, he's just as evil as Gaia's other premier alt medicine grifter. Okay, if you thought anti-vaxxers were bad, meet the chemotherapy truthers like Ty Bollinger, a man who has had the fucking gall to trademark the phrase, the truth about cancer. TM, which only makes up half of the title of his Gaia original series, The Truth About Cancer, The Quest Continues, ellipsis, with Ty Bollinger. Yeah, I'm afraid it's serious desk time again. In this show, Ty goes on a little tour talking to so-called experts about the downsides of cancer treatment. Most of his treatment suggestions revolve around the tired, pseudo-scientific idea of detoxification, basically the removal of non-specific toxic stuff from the body with the infinite power of energy and, yeah, again, the placebo effect.
But I don't like the term alternative cancer treatments because that insinuates that these treatments are not as good as the primary treatments, chemotherapy, radiation, and surgery, when, in reality, they're far superior.
Ty does present some medically sound advice about how diet and lifestyle can affect cancer treatments, but the major red flag no-no is the fact that he presents them as alternatives to traditional cancer treatment, as opposed to additions to it.
My book spells out exactly how you or a friend or a loved one can beat cancer without spending a fortune and without undergoing chemotherapy, radiation, or surgery.
Chemotherapy is horrible and in some countries prohibitively expensive. So some people are receptive to the idea that it doesn't work, so they can justify not going through with it. And that's their right, that's their choice. But to deceive people on this front, is evil. Gaia and these grifters have a transactional relationship. They come to the platform with their established audience, and in turn, Gaia gives them a larger audience that is likely to be receptive to their speaking tours, books, and whatever else they're shilling. We are all connected, united in our uniqueness, only separated by what makes us the same. Reality is oppressive, bleak, and occasionally gross, but escaping it. We all want to escape it, especially because we are all literally living in the Matrix, and not the good one of the sequels. But like Neo, you have to wake up. Magic isn't real, and our problems are not one crystal totem away from being fixed. That's a fantasy of empowerment. Real, personal empowerment comes from verifying and confronting reality, educating yourself with a sober mind. Anyone who promises an alternative is deluded or lying to you. So stay conscious and don't let the bastards grind you down.
Oh no! Nice, dude. That was funny. Even got some assists from that.
Shut down.
Oh, so close.
An enemy has been slain. Shut down. Slain.
Zero ultimate is a little scary.
Your turret has been destroyed. Enemy rampage.
have to give this one. Brand needs to die first. He's so fed. It is 3v4 though. Brand ult is out. It's pretty big. It's so hard to fight 3v4 when they're fed. I had a ward in there the whole time. Oh, he missed his Q. He wouldn't push, would he? There he is. Can't believe we didn't have ult. No plating. He's worth a lot of money. I want to shut down the vein. There's too many people. Their entire team came to the baby Baron. Thank you, Lulu. Didn't get the brand though. Wait, what? Excuse me? I do have ult here, but I need... Shroud or something. Oh. I would, like, if the first part of Akali ult was still a stun, then I could have intercepted my E mid push and then stunned her. Otherwise, there's no stopping me getting the force shot off. This is fully stacked, so I'm not in a rush to upgrade. $50 gold for that. No one needs to soak that. Oof. Kinda wanna deny creeps. Yeah, I can't push that down wall here. He is worth 350, that's not a bad bounty. It's just unaltered way too early. Why is Munda split pushing bottom? Why are both those guys doing that?
Killing spree. An ally has been slain.
give it to Nasus. Oh my god. I think our Mundo is just trolling our top laner. If we do this, we gotta kill the Vayne first, man. I don't know if it's worth going for the APs. Still 3v5 too. Ranger doesn't want to join the fight. Dude, what is this Tristana doing? That was a free kill, man. You gotta use the ult to finish people off, not push him away mid-fight. Especially when he's got, like, power aggro, too. At least Tristana gets a lot of farm here. Bottom time for volley. Good cleanup, guys. Oh, we got no Tristana, so we can't clear the creeps fast enough.
United Kingdom of North Korea. I really don't know if there's anything I can say that many of you haven't already known about for like years. It's the one country that's been at America's throat for decades now, following a generation of leaders from one family which started off with Kim Il-sung. The nation started the Democratic Republic after World War II, when the country was made into a seemingly free and independent country after years of slave labor under Japan. Once World War II ended, the US remained in control of the democracy south of Korea, where north of Korea was being puppeted by the Soviet Union. It's here Kim Il-sung, formerly Kim Song-ju, was paraded around as a war hero to the Korean people, what with him being a guerrilla leader for the resistance against Japan. With this info, Kim Il-sung was quickly and effortlessly made into the supreme leader, despite the fact that he barely spoke any Korean at all, being raised more in China than Korea. From here onward, Kim Il-sung declared war on South Korea in an attempt to reclaim all of Korea and to rule under the former imperialistic model they once followed. However, this war resulted in millions of deaths, which resulted in a ceasefire agreement between the two nations. Since then, the once thriving nation of North Korea, which actually was better off than South Korea at the time, began a steady decline in economy, what with the focus of the country being shifted from human rights to militaristic domination. 3 generations of the Kim dynasty have not gotten the country in a better state than what it first found itself as. It's remained shut off to the rest of the world, only occasionally trading with China and a few other countries, and often threatening the world with nuclear arms. Not much can be seen as an outsider of North Korea. We can't really properly determine what sort of state North Korea is currently in, though through glimpses of the country that we're allowed to see would make you think that it's thriving, it's a prosperous country. But there's a lot of evidence that contradicts that, despite the propaganda being spewed at you pretty much every single day from North Korea. From documentaries about the nation to inside footage of the severe poverty much of the citizens face, to even the North Koreans themselves, those who survived their escape from the country tell horrible tales of massacres, genocide, famine, torture, propaganda, and a slew of other indescribable acts that have been committed upon the citizens. Hell, you don't even need refugees from the country to prove that most of what they say isn't true. With claims like Kim Jong-il was born under a double rainbow, I mean, come on now, just use your noggin. I'm sure all of you know this by now, but the reason I'm reminding you of what kind of country North Korea is to emphasize the kind of stuff they want you to believe. All info on North Korea is scarce, and what we see of them is taken from defectors or from North Korea itself. Propaganda is what North Korea and its supreme leaders have mastered for generations. It's no surprise that their people still believe they live in a paradise country full of hopes and dreams. Though nowadays, it seems that those delusions of a fantastic country are starting to dwindle as more and more citizens are starting to fight back against officers and soldiers who disrespect them. And seeing as how soldiers aren't even better off than most other peasants, it's not surprising that they would only see them as such. Even the elite of the country are starting to envy those who live in China and sometimes even America, what with so much of American media getting pirated and bootlegged over to North Korea. And that is one of the most prominent illegal activities that most North Koreans have done, what with over half of them watching imported media from the United States or other foreign countries. North Korea is falling, and with what seems to be an inevitable collapse of its propaganda-fueled structure, North Korea just seems to have found a new way to dissuade people into thinking their country is anything less than perfect. Enter Echo of Truth, a YouTube channel that's seemingly dedicated to one objective, propagating the quote-unquote perfect image that North Korea wants you to see. Echo of Truth at first seems like a parody account to me. Like I've said, North Korea doesn't really allow anyone to see what's going on in their country unless, of course, it's under their control. Like, for example, while North Koreans won't allow people outside of the country to live or even visit, they would allow tours around the country via a very constricted and linear path along Pyongyang. During these tours, the tour guides would often talk about how amazing North Korea is and how they were among the first around the world to do this or achieve that, or talk about how godlike their supreme leaders are, all while talking about how Americans are truly villainous, almost nudging any tourist to defect from their homes in order to greatly shame America, which has happened before. Although most, I would hope, are wise enough to avoid their coercions. But then again, these are the same people who just paid North Korea for propaganda tours, which inadvertently helps them with their nuclear arms programs, so maybe I'm just being just a tad bit naive. Yet Echo of Truth does something completely different. It controls the narrative fully. Whereas some tourists can see the cracks and gaps that lies within the North Korean propaganda tours, Echo of Truth pretty much irons that all out. After all, these are videos. You can edit them however you want and cut out all the unsavory parts and leave in whatever makes you or your country look good. That seems to be the main objective of this channel, as it shows North Korea as a very happy and free country with all sorts of modern miracles. Take this video for example. It's called Kumdong-2 Injection and Royal Blood Fresh, Instant Cure for All Diseases. What a mouthful. But in it, we see that an elderly man by the name of Hong Jong-seop, a Korean living in America, suffering from, I don't know, being old. He could barely move, he could barely walk, barely talk. But through this miraculous medicine called the Kumdong-2 injection, the man started to regain his vitality, moving everywhere, being his old self again, which apparently got the attention of people around the world and scientists and doctors all over the globe. And the medicine was allegedly proven by scientists everywhere as some sort of miracle drug. It's pretty vague as to what exactly it does, but according to the second video, it's optimizing the immune system to fight off illnesses and bacteria. Wow, that sounds great. It would be pretty amazing if we could use that against the coronavirus. Oh wait, it's bullshit? Well, yeah. Obviously. Throughout the first video, we can see many people holding up the miracle drug like it were like a Coca-Cola bottle or some shit. Even little kids are just holding it for no reason. Obviously, most, if not all of these pictures are photoshopped. Some of them are more obvious than others, but it's very, very clear that these aren't real customers. It also subtly emphasizes America's incompetence for curing this man's illness, if you want to even call it that. Yeah, the video never said what he actually has, just that he was like old, and that's about it. In fact, looking further into this miracle drug, lo and behold, it's really a thing that they claimed is helping people around the globe. In fact, it's been a thing since around 1996. 2006, just around the time the bird flu epidemic was on the rise. The claims of this curing bacterial infections and common illnesses don't stop there, by the way. It also cures, get this, AIDS, HIV, MERS, tuberculosis, and quote-unquote harm from the use of computers. Okay? Now, looking into the ingredients of this miraculous medicine also smells of bullshit, with traces of gold somehow being beneficial to the injection, as well as Asian ginseng, which has been proven time and time again to have no real health benefits. This medicine is among the many propaganda videos Echo of Truth has, which, by the way, doesn't stop at just being a channel. It also has a Twitter account where they claim to be a network of anti-war peace lovers who report unbiased news from the DPRK throughout videos and photos. Yeah, unbiased. Well, let's hold them to that. Let's actually see if they really are unbiased. Well, it's not true. I'll just say it right now. All of these videos are just straight up praising North Korea and what they've achieved, and not once acknowledging the severe poverty and hunger a large majority of the population faces. In fact, they just go out of their way to disprove this by having videos dedicated to just having someone exploring supermarkets and having extreme close-ups of food that seems to be overflowing in the stores, but we'll get to that in a bit. I want to give you guys a bit of a disclaimer. Honestly, there is a lot to cover, and I mean a fuck ton. I can't even really cover all of this right now in this video. I want to highlight the more absurd or the more concerning videos I found on this channel and other channels that I was able to find while researching this. But we will be talking a lot about stuff, and we are barely scratching the surface, so buckle in, because this is going to be one long video. I'd like to start off by introducing you all to this channel's poster child, Un-A, or Un-A. I think I'm just going to call her Un-A because I really don't know anything about Korean, so I'm just going to keep it safe. Un-A is a resident of Pyongyang and stars in many of the videos by Echo of Truth. She actually speaks in English most of the time, and pretty well. She has a very soft voice and often acts as a sort of anchor/vlogging host for many of the videos on this channel. Some of them have a more personal take, as it has to do with who she views as a hero and what kind of history she enjoys. But outside these videos, we really don't know who Un-A is. Pyongyang citizen, got it. But what else does she do? Is she a news anchor? Is she some sort of vlogger? Does she work for the government? Is she a tour guide? Is she something else? Well, seeing as how she has a tour guide video series, I'm assuming that that is exactly what she is. To say this is her channel is complete speculation, but you'd almost be convinced that this channel is actually more of a vlogging channel about a young North Korean citizen than a propaganda channel meant to brainwash and control outside viewers. At least it would seem like a vlogging channel if it weren't for the fact that every third video is just talking about miracle drugs and how much food and fun the citizens have, but that's beyond the point. The videos Un-A is featured in, however, are all pretty personal, talking about the citizens, locations, and giving more of an insight of what the heart of North Korea really is, at least through the perspective of the channel itself. Un-A's first video was in the one titled Un-A's Pyongyang Tour Series Part 1, in which she explores around a supermarket in Pyongyang. Immediately, what you'll notice with many of the videos that feature a supermarket, which there are a lot of, none of the food feature have a brand. That's because capitalism is non-existent here in North Korea. It's a communist country after all, which focuses on the whole, not the individual. Most of the food in North Korea was made by North Korean factories like Sonhung Foodstuff Factory or Gyeonghung Foodstuff Factory, not outside companies. And boy, Un-A and others on this channel sure love to remind you just how much food there is and how absolutely delicious they are. Throughout this whole video, it shows a market full of processed food and goes into further detail on the factories and how they make the food. It really doesn't seem like just a young woman just vlogging and having fun, but what lies underneath North Korea is much scarier. Keep this in mind. The market here is full of food. Yet as of June 2019, North Korea has had one of the worst harvests among any other country in the world, according to the UN. An unsettling 40% of North Koreans are facing severe food shortages, and this was presumably filmed just a few months after UN's evaluation on North Korea's current food shortage. That makes this video, amongst other market videos, very unsettling. Not only are there starving North Koreans, but there are also poverty-stricken citizens that wouldn't even be able to afford this in the first place. Yet here's Un-A smiling, making jokes, talking about her favorite food, all with happy-go-lucky music. And as insulting as this video is, it isn't quite as unsettling as this one titled My Favorite Grocery in Pyongyang. This one focuses on a completely different woman and not Un-A. I don't even know any of the names of pretty much anyone featured on this channel other than Un-A, which to me is very strange. But anyways, going back to the video in question, we see an unnamed woman walking to her quote-unquote favorite grocery store. Again, this woman pretty much pretends to be having a good time, talking about her favorite snacks, what she eats regularly, camera shots of food, pretty much showing how overflowing the grocery is with food. But if you're really paying close attention, there's something that these two videos often fail to show. Guess what that is? Well, it's fresh products, like meat and vegetables. Yeah, both of these videos actually don't show any sort of fresh meat or fresh vegetables on sale at all. Even times where we can probably see meat, it's sped up and quickly glossed over. In My Favorite Grocery in Pyongyang, we actually see an abundance of what could be sausages and canned meat, but none of it is freshly preserved. Hell, honestly, these could just be props, but I don't want to end up sounding like a paranoid propaganda channel myself. You don't see anything like vegetables or fruits hanging around, just instant food or processed stuff like chips or candy or paste. It doesn't really instill confidence that the DPRK is overflowing with food, just that they've got a lot of processed garbage. It makes you a lot more suspicious of the country's food supply than it does convince you. More suspicious than that is just the way the two hosts behave and talk in the store. Seriously, I don't know about you guys, but I don't spend most of my time in a grocery store or a supermarket gawking over how well packaged and plentiful this food supply is. At first, it starts innocent, but immediately starts to feel more like an advertisement for this no-name market, or perhaps a message to the people of the world that North Korea has some of the best food out there. It's even more obvious when towards the end of the My Favorite Grocery Store video, the lady in the video smoothly but randomly starts talking to the cashier, and they both talk about how much food food the grocery gets every day and how they always restock, as if it's like something out of a weird script. This is not really a normal conversation people have with cashiers after they buy their food. And there's even another instance where she's just walking in the middle of the grocery store and for some reason bumps into this little boy and doesn't really respond in like the most natural way possible. She's like, oh, I know this little boy. I see him every day. We are best friends. How are you, little boy? And the little boy is basically told and fed his lines by his mother. And like, it's just so coincidental that it is obviously scripted. It is so weird. The one thing I personally find eerie is the fact that they blur out the prices of these items. I'm not quite sure why, but again, the country is facing severe economic troubles. I wouldn't be surprised if they blurred out the prices because they are so ludicrously high. Actually, these videos aren't a rarity in the channel. It's kind of shocking just how many department store videos Echoes of Truth has, as if it were something to compensate. It's really no coincidence that these videos were made just after the UN evaluated North Korea's flops. It just sort of feels like they're trying to save face. But while we're on the topic of food, we actually get a very rare glimpse at a North Korean restaurant that claims to have world-famous Italian food, which ranges from pasta, pizza, and, well, mostly pizza. Things are immediately suspect within the first minute of the video when the host of this video enters the restaurant that, mind you, is world famous, and yet as she steps into the restaurant, the place is completely empty. Now, it'd be understandable if they're filming this early in the day around the time that maybe the restaurant opens up or is still closed, but one, wouldn't they want to film later in the day when the restaurant is packed to make it seem more successful? And two, the restaurant isn't closed, as evident by the quote-unquote 2 customers that are later interviewed, who are in themselves very disturbing, but we'll get to them in a bit. For now, let's talk about the food and the quality of the food, which again is very, very weird. They show many kinds of pizzas, most of which look very unappealing and scarcely different from the last pizza shown. Towards the end, they show pasta, which really doesn't look all that special or appetizing. You know, for a world-famous restaurant with some world-famous pizzas, you'd think the food would look appealing, but that's just not the case at all. Unless one of you out there thinks this looks good. Yeah, that is cooked pizza, and yes, she is putting raw ham slices on top of the pizza after it was cooked. That is fucking disgusting. Both of these pizzas were made in front of us live, and really, it doesn't really look all that great. It more or less looks like the kind of pizza someone who just learned how to make pizza would look like. Well, who am I to judge? What is good food if you're just looking at it and you think it looks bad? Maybe it actually tastes good. Surely, someone in this video is gonna at least try the food, right? We're gonna see a reaction shot of someone biting into the food and being like, delicious, right? Nope. Not once. In this entire video does someone even taste the food. It's just made for the camera, and the people that were allegedly already eating had nothing but positive things to say about the pizza, even though we weren't shown them eating anything. What's disturbing about these 2 quote-unquote customers is the fact that they look like they're reading off of a script. Maybe I'm just being paranoid here, but the way this lady looks down and pauses every time she talks just seems unnatural and more resembles someone reading out of a script in front of her. Of course, we can't even see what is in front of her as the camera is practically right on her face. What gets me a bit unsettled is the next customer, who looks like he's on the verge of tears. The man has a lot less to say, but he too pauses now and again and quickly glances over to the side and continues. Again, I could totally be reading too deep into this, but my god, doesn't this guy look like he just came out of his son's funeral or something? He looks scared to death. Now, if you think these 2 are suspicious, wait till you see the people over at the amusement park. Kaesong Youth Park is apparently this large, bustling amusement park that is lively every night at Pyongyang. Now, to be fair, Kaesong Youth Park was renovated sometime in 2010 after Kim Jong-il visited the park. You probably saw the ride, affectionately known as the Wheel of Death, and said, yeah, maybe we should fix that shit. There's been too many people being flung off of the ride multiple times that I think this place needs some renovation. Anyways, digging up info on Kaesong Youth Park was actually very difficult. I mean, that's the case for pretty much anything in North Korea. The only thing I could find was an article written by the Koryo Group, a travel company that, while British owned, has a lot of great things to say about North Korea and is also named after a certain Korean dynasty. They help a lot of people travel overseas to see North Korea and to have a tour around there. So yes, immediately they are very suspicious and their end goal is more so. However, I really don't think they're that malicious. Maybe they are agents of North Korea, possibly, but more so than that, I think they just want to sell the idea that North Korea is a place that people can buy themselves into, because yes, the tickets cost around $600 to, I believe, $1,400 for just 1 ticket per person. So while their end goal probably doesn't meet with North Korea's goal of nuking the entire world, they still would want some money in this, so they are benefiting from just spewing North Korea propaganda and saying how amazing it is. And obviously, they have a very glowing review of the park, talking about how it's been recently renovated, how it's very cheap, and it's really fun. But really, there's not much else I can find other than that. Well, as you can see from the video, people really are having a lot of fun. The rides look like any other ride you would see anywhere else, and a surprising amount of Westerners show up in this video, and they kind of clash with the North Koreans. I don't know about you, but these North Koreans and the footage itself seems like something I would see from a 1990 documentary made by some little kid in his camcorder. It really does feel like something out of a time capsule, like we leapt through time and we're seeing people from the early 2000s and late 1990s. And that's honestly true of most of Korea. There have been documentaries that talk about the military of North Korea and how they're still using weapons from World War II. The fashion sense of North Koreans have not changed either since probably the 80s or the 90s. And again, this is very common knowledge. Most people around the world know that North Korea is very behind the times. And so to counteract these sort of claims, they make videos like the most ultra-modern mall ever made in Pyongyang. It is so strange. But hey, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's actually talk about the park. You might notice that while watching this video of the amusement park, you'll see that there is a large North Korean crowd here. It's kind of strange how so many of them are here in this park, but at a world-famous restaurant, there's nobody to be found. My guess is that because the park is filled with so many Westerners, the park had to look lively for the guests. There's a very common urban myth about these North Korean tours, and that is that most of the people you see are most likely actors and that everything that happens during your tour is staged. You're not allowed to question any of the North Korean citizens, and only the tour guides are allowed to ask them questions and talk to them. And sometimes, if you are able to ask them some sort of question and you get them off their script, they have no idea how to respond and just sort of laugh and leave. There's no real proof of this being a thing at all, but this is North Korea, and they go very far to convince the entire world that their country is fine. But would they go so far as to hire hundreds of actors for an amusement park just to convince a dozen or less Westerners that North Koreans have a good time? I'm not sure. Judging by the videos I've talked about so far, I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I'm sure some of these people are having a good time, but really, look at some of the people they interview and you tell me if they're reading off a script or not. Take this woman, for example. As she's answering the questions the interviewers give her, you can see that she's constantly looking to the side, almost like she's reading something over there. Again, much like the other lady from the Italian restaurant. Though, that just might be my overactive imagination. We hear all these horror stories coming from North Korea that it's easy to think the worst. Honestly, though, I can't help it. The way these people talk, I mean, it's like something out of a movie or something weird. It's not completely there. It's totally off. They're talking about how much fun they have and how it's amazing for the entire community to have fun and how this is the greatest thing ever. And they're not really talking about the rides or what they enjoyed, just sort of that they like the park.
Would you say that living conditions have improved?
It's just some sort of self-promotion of the park. That's what it feels like. This girl talks about how she just came over with her friends and families just a few days ago to have a good time, and now she's working here to quote-unquote add more joy to the people. Yeah, well, I eat at a fucking McDonald's every week. That doesn't mean I want to get a job over there and serve my glorious patriot comrades of the United States. Speaking of large crowds, we're currently dealing with a global epidemic. How is it that North Korea is faring? Surely, with that injection miracle drug thing, the North Koreans are healthy and safe, correct? I mean, we already know that they have a free healthcare system, right? Well, yeah, actually, they apparently are having a good time. According to the North Koreans, anyway. Yep, according to the DPRK themselves, there are absolutely 0 cases of COVID-19 in North Korea. To be honest, I actually wouldn't be surprised if that's true. I mean, with videos like Pyongyang Tongdong Fish Restaurant showing the interiors of these restaurants being 100% empty, North Korea's got this social distancing business in the bag. By the way, I absolutely love this totally not staged photo. Wow, I got a crab. Holy shit, he's got a crab.
Well, he has a crab.
Joking aside, it's expected by several foreign analysts and medical experts that North Korea is definitely facing several cases of COVID-19 spreading throughout the entire country. Just a few months ago, it was reported that a staggering 200 North Korean soldiers were killed from the virus, but the DPRK refuses to acknowledge these cases, opting instead to tell the entire world that there are 0 cases of corona within the country. And trust me, they will not stop telling you about this on the channel. In Un-A's Pyongyang Tour Part 6, she talks about how the situation in North Korea is totally controlled regarding COVID-19. To be fair, this was very early in COVID's life, so it's possible that at this time there were no cases of COVID in North Korea, but this is still unlikely as North Korea is in close proximity of China, the epicenter of the virus. She talks about how DPRK took decisive and reasonable measures, such as closing off airports, overseas travels, and basically closing off their entire borders, as well as not accepting foreigners into North Korea. Once again, to be fair, this action is suspected to have helped and sustain North Korea's decline in COVID cases, but to say there are 0 cases is just grossly incorrect. But hey, who knows? Maybe this injection they keep shoving down our throats could be the real deal. I mean, maybe their healthcare system really is excellent. Well, I mean, if it were 1990, it might be true. But as it stands now, according to one North Korean refugee, the healthcare system favors only the rich, and anybody who can't afford medicine might just have to suffer without it. Now, healthcare here in the States is a very touchy subject, and I'd argue we could do better. Yet from what was said by this refugee and how these hospitals have hilarious propaganda all over the interior, such as signs that read, "Devotion is the best medicine," and "Socialist medicine is preventative medicine," I'd figure they have it just a tad bit worse. It's as this refugee describes from the movie Propaganda Game. They may have free healthcare, but they do not have available medicine for everyone. Many North Koreans have given up hope that the government can help them at all. Medicine is just too expensive, and the healthcare doesn't do anything for them. And as we speak, there's probably thousands of North Koreans suffering from the virus right now, and we're not being told about it at all. Now, of course, with all these videos existing for seemingly propaganda purposes, and with the comments surprisingly open, what are people saying? Well, the comments section alone is just very strange. We have people who are highly skeptical of these videos to people flat out calling the videos propaganda. There are also a large amount of people thanking Echo of Truth for making the videos and congratulating them on such a great video, as well as congratulating North Korea for being such a great country. Some of these are even in Korean. What's crazy to me, honestly, is the comments that are even open. You would think if propaganda is their main goal, they would shut down the comments, or maybe that would be too suspicious. Maybe that's why they have the comment section open up and have people heavily criticizing and questioning North Korea. Maybe it's all an elaborate ruse in order for you to think that this probably isn't a propaganda channel. Yet, even then, some of the comments are a bit suspicious themselves. Like I said, there's a lot of people who actually think these videos are amazing, well-produced, and great for the public. Yet, if we were to read between the lines, we'll find many of these comments share a lot of similarities to one another, like this one by Douglas Allen. It has a very professional format and are the only comments among hundreds that are written like that. However, somebody named Dougie Wuggy typed the same way Doug types. Same format, same wording, all that junk, but under a different account. Why? It's strange that we see him so many times in so many different videos. Maybe he's just a big fan. Well, he isn't the only one. There are dozens of people who congratulate and compliment these videos, as well as defending North Korea from other people who think the channel is suspicious or untruthful. Some of them saying that they're just flat out idiots or that they're just being brainwashed by Western media. Now, if you're like me, then you're probably thinking the same thing. Are these accounts real? Or are these just puppet accounts made by the DPRK or Echo of Truth? I don't deny that some of these people would actually compliment the DPRK, and to think that North Korea is an amazing place. But seeing as how this channel is for help with propaganda, I doubt most of these people are in support of the DPRK voluntarily. So of course, I looked into some of these comments and I browse around these users' channels. What I've noticed is that in more popular videos, the propaganda some of the comments spewed before is missing, probably because they're swamped by all the other comments by outsiders that happen to have found this video, or maybe because these comments would have easily spotted propaganda. After all, when making propaganda, you don't want people to actually realize that you're trying to brainwash them. However, when it came to the other videos with a lot fewer views and a lot fewer comments, these people came out of the shadows and praised North Korea. You'll see dozens of these comments just flooding these videos. All of them are incredibly suspicious. When looking further into some of these accounts, my suspicions only heightened. You'll find some of these users that praise the channel and criticize others are sometimes privated. No further info can be reached from these users, such as our friend Douglas Allen. Then we'll get channels that do give us info but have no likes, videos, playlists, etc. There are others that have the likes visible and very clearly in support of many other North Korean propaganda channels, or just Asian and communist channels in general, sometimes even videos. Notably, I found a user named James Lin that subscribed to multiple Korean channels, some relating to North Korea and others relating to communism. Now, I'm not saying that these particular channels are puppets of DPRK, but these people have an obvious interest for that culture and the government. Though there are two channels, one by the name of Michael Burton and another by Sundu 007, which I'll talk about later. Right now, I want to focus on Michael Burton. Michael Burton is notable as he seems to be re-uploading some of the same exact videos by Echo of Truth, only with a French title. That's strange, but what is really strange is that despite the title being changed into French, the video itself isn't translated at all. There's no subtitles nor dubs. It's just a straight re-upload for some reason. Michael Burton made this comment. He very aggressively does not like people who question the DPRK, and very much love the DPRK, as he is, again, re-uploading everything the Echo of Truth does. But not just that, he's also re-uploading other channels from North Korea. Thankfully, he credits everyone he re-uploads, and thanks to him, I found a slew of other channels that tilt on the propaganda, like the new DPRK, a channel much like Echo of Truth, but focused more on vlogging in Pyongyang. There's not much I can say about the new DPRK that I haven't already said about the Echo of Truth. So much of it is very awkwardly filmed, with people talking in a very rigid way, almost like reading off of a script. Endless compliments towards the DPRK, one video even being titled Dreams Come True in DPRK. Each video is some sort of history lesson about the amazing things North Korea has accomplished and the many cultural things they are proud of. And though while they have very similar motifs and more, there is a drastic tonal shift between the two. Whereas Echo of Truth talks more about what's going on in Pyongyang, with occasional vlog-style videos by Un-A, the new DPRK channel is just straight up a vlogging channel, meaning there's little to no mention of the outside world or news. Even things like COVID-19 gets only briefly mentioned in some of these videos, what with some of the citizens saying that nobody in the country has been affected by the virus. Also, can I briefly just show you how weird some of these edits are? Like, Echo of Truth is weird, but the edits here are absolutely bizarre.
Got flash shield though.
Like, what the fuck is that? What's even weirder, if you could even believe it, is that this channel claims to not even be in North Korea, but in the Netherlands. And the business email, I mean, just sounds like spam. Some of the videos are even in Chinese subtitles, and I'm not really sure if they're speaking Korean or Chinese, but still, why is it, what is with this channel? Funny enough, Echo of Truth doesn't shy away from the comments, and actually allows comments to be posted, like I said, on each video they upload. But in the new DPRK, comments are just not allowed. Probably because, again, the focus on this channel is having a good life in Pyongyang, rather than talking about the news or other sorts of things outside of Pyongyang. Or I could be reading too much into this. Or not. I mean, there's one video where the main host of the channel takes Taekwondo lessons and asks the teacher to show her women's Taekwondo because she wants to defend herself. But she awkwardly slips in some weird propaganda that she will never be attacked and she'll never have to use her self-defense, but she just wants to learn it because the Pyongyang is so very safe. Yeah, I don't know about that. Ask anyone from these channels and they'll be eager to tell you just how clean, safe, environmentally friendly, and beautiful these cities are, all while ignoring that nobody has filmed outside of the city. Nobody is talking about what lies beyond the city's limits. Nobody is talking about the starving citizens, the countryside, the elitism, the classism, the poor healthcare system, the thousands of corona cases that are unreported, and the torture camps established within the country that repeatedly kidnap and repeatedly murder citizens that question the regime or the supreme leader. And it's not just the poverty-stricken citizens that are afraid of the regime or afraid of getting kidnapped and murdered. Elite people that are in the regime, the people who are actually controlling some aspects of the country, are also afraid of this country that they serve. Tai Young-ho is a great example, an elite diplomat in North Korea and highly regarded by the North Korean people as one of the best and the brightest. Yet after he defected from North Korea, the DPRK turned their backs on him and accused him of embezzling millions of dollars and being a child molester. There's so much more, so very, very much more that I could talk about. I am not exaggerating when I say that I've barely scratched the surface. Maybe someday I can cover them in greater detail, and maybe someday I'll even talk about the other hundreds of different videos that North Korea has uploaded on YouTube for propaganda's sake. But for now, I really can't do that. We've been running on for 40 minutes now. These videos are full of people who are delusional or unknowingly blind of what's going on in their country. That's also one of the main reasons I don't think I should talk about these, because there's not much else to say other than that. The purpose of these channels are to convince you that the country is safe, that it's perfect, that the medicines are perfected, that everyone is happy, that everyone is having a good time. But from what has been seen and what has been reported by refugees, and what has been shown by hidden cameras and documentarians, it would only seem that North Korea's thin veil of lies only gets thinner and thinner every year. Thank you all so very much for watching. I'll see you all next time. Love you so much. Goodbye.
세상이 부러워하리 저 하늘 끝에도 비길 수 없는 무한한 인정의 세계
네, 교통을 됐습니다. 횡단보도랑 여러 곳이 횡단보도인데
We never saw the fridge.
Yeah. I guess not.
Unstoppable.